What is all this? He thought. Am I losing my mind? Where are these reflections coming from? He peeked into the front hall and cried timorously. Grunya! What's this cat doing hanging around here? Where did he come from? And the other one? Don't worry, Stepan Bogdanovich, a voice responded, not Grunya's but the visitor's, from the bedroom. The cat is mine. Don't be nervous. And Grunya is not here, I sent her off to Voronezh. She complained you diddled her out of a vacation. These words were so unexpected and preposterous that Styopa decided he had not heard right. Utterly bewildered, he trotted back to the bedroom and froze on the threshold. His hair stood on end and small beads of sweat broke out on his brow. The visitor was no longer alone in the bedroom, but had company. In the second armchair sat the same type he had imagined in the front hall. Now he was clearly visible, the feathery mustache, one lens of the pince-nez gleaming, the other not there. But worse things were to be found in the bedroom. On the jeweler's wife's ottoman, in a casual pose, sprawled a third party, namely, a black cat of uncanny size, with a glass of vodka in one paw and a fork, on which he had managed to spear a pickled mushroom, in the other. The light, faint in the bedroom anyway, now began to grow quite dark in Styopa's eyes. This is apparently how one loses one's mind, he thought, and caught hold of the doorpost. I see you're somewhat surprised, my dearest Stepan Bogdanovich? Woland inquired of the teeth-chattering Styopa. And yet there's nothing to be surprised at. This is my retinue. Here the cat tossed off the vodka, and Styopa's hand began to slide down the doorpost. And this retinue requires room, Woland continued, so there's just one too many of us in the apartment. And it seems to us that this one too many is precisely you. There's self, there's self. The long checkered one sang in a goat's voice, referring to Styopa in the plural. Generally, their self has been up to some terrible swinishness lately. Drinking, using their position to have liaisons with women, don't do devil a thing, and can't do anything, because they don't know anything of what they're supposed to do. Pulling the wool over their superiors' eyes. Availing himself of a government car. The cat snitched, chewing a mushroom. And here occurred the fourth and last appearance in the apartment, as Styopa, having slid all the way to the floor, clawed at the doorpost with an enfeebled hand. Straight from the pier glass stepped a short but extraordinarily broad-shouldered man, with a bowler hat on his head and a fang sticking out of his mouth, which made still uglier a physiognomy unprecedentedly loathsome without that. And with flaming red hair besides. Generally, this new one entered into the conversation. I don't understand how he got to be a director. The redhead's nasal twang was growing stronger and stronger. He's as much a director as I'm a bishop. You don't look like a bishop, Azazello, the cat observed, heaping his plate with frankfurters. That's what I mean, twanged the redhead and, turning to Woland, he added deferentially, allow me, monsieur, to chuck him the devil out of Moscow? Scat. The cat barked suddenly, bristling his fur. And then the bedroom started spinning around Styopa. He hit his head against the doorpost, and, losing consciousness, thought. I'm dying. But he did not die. Opening his eyes slightly, he saw himself sitting on something made of stone. Around him something was making noise. When he opened his eyes properly, he realized that the noise was being made by the sea and, what's more, that the waves were rocking just at his feet, that he was, in short, sitting at the very end of a jetty, that over him was a brilliant blue sky and behind him a white city on the mountains. Not knowing how to behave in such a case, Styopa got up on his trembling legs and walked along the jetty towards the shore. Some man was standing on the jetty, smoking and spitting into the sea. He looked at Styopa with wild eyes and stopped spitting. Then Styopa pulled the following stunt. He knelt down before the unknown smoker and said, I implore you, tell me what city is this? Really? Said the heartless smoker. I'm not drunk, Styopa replied hoarsely, something's happened to me, I'm ill, where am I? What city is this? Well, it's Yalta. Styopa quietly gasped and sank down on his side, his head striking the warm stone of the jetty. Consciousness left him. Chapter 8. The combat between the professor and the poet. At the same time that consciousness left Styopa in Yalta, that is, around 11:30 in the morning, it returned to Ivan Nikolaevich homeless, who woke up after a long and deep sleep. He spent some time pondering how it was that he had wound up in an unfamiliar room with white walls, with an astonishing night table made of some light metal, and with white blinds behind which one could sense the sun. Ivan shook his head, ascertained that it did not ache, and remembered that he was in a clinic. This thought drew after it the remembrance of Berlioz's death, but today it did not provoke a strong shock in Ivan. Having had a good sleep, Ivan Nikolaevich became calmer and began to think more clearly. After lying motionless for some time in this most clean, soft and comfortable spring bed, Ivan noticed a bell button beside him. From a habit of touching things needlessly, Ivan pressed it. He expected the pressing of the button to be followed by some ringing or appearance, but something entirely different happened. A frosted glass cylinder with the word drink on it lit up at the foot of Ivan's bed. After pausing for a while, the cylinder began to rotate until the word nurse popped out.